Welcome to Unsubscribe. I'm your host, Avani Jain. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how to intentionally opt out of anything that's robbing you of your energy, freedom, joy, and peace of mind. It's time to let it all go, finally, so that you can clear your mental inboxes and make space to subscribe to a life that truly lights your soul. If you're ready, hop in. We are embarking on the transformation of a lifetime.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unsubscribe. I'm sitting here and it is March. Can't believe it's March, first of all. How did that happen? But what's crazy is I haven't recorded a podcast episode in 3 weeks, which feels like a really, really long time. So feeling a little rusty, oddly enough. The last few weeks were amazing and also kind of crazy. And I was just energetically not in the place to record podcast episodes. My energy wasn't there. I knew that I needed to take care of myself and make sure that I got back to center before I showed up in front of you. And I want to always bring the best energy to the mic and to the podcast whenever I'm recording. The last few weeks we've been traveling, which has been so much fun. And also during travel, I had allergies, I caught a cold. And so healing from those things and coming back to center, coming back to routine has helped me get back on track and feel really good going into March. Wow, I feel so much better after just being able to breathe and, be a normal human that's not sniffling all the time or needing cough drops all the time. So I'm so grateful to feel good. And I'm really excited to dive into today's topic. We are talking about pending energy. You may or may not have heard about pending energy before, but we're going to dive into all the details. I want to give you examples of what pending energy is and talk about it a little bit, because this might be the thing that is keeping you stuck. This might be the thing that's keeping you from making decisions, making movement on things you really want to move forward on, progress on, and make happen in the world, in your life. And I want you to do those things. So that's why we're talking about pending energy today. I want to talk about what it is, why it's so important to acknowledge that it exists, and how we can clear it or unsubscribe to pending energy, and what that can do for us in our lives. So we're going to dive in. Let's talk about first, what is pending energy? It's this thing that I mentioned here and there on Instagram. I'm pretty sure I even talked about it on my last podcast, the Six Figure Freelancer podcast. And I learned about this concept. Actually, maybe I didn't, because I stopped podcasting in 2020 and I learned about this concept in 2021. So I haven't talked about it on a podcast yet. So here we are, pending energy. This is stuck energy that we're holding onto because we have some kind of big decision, some kind of boundary to be drawn, some kind of negativity that is latched onto our minds, or conversations that we're avoiding having. These are things that we keep thinking about again and again and again in our heads. We're stuck in this loop of, how do I make this decision? How do I show this boundary? How do I have this conversation with a loved one? And it's very heavy and very difficult, maybe a little scary. And it's making us feel super stuck and causing major energy leaks in other areas of our lives. Probably you have pending energy in your personal life, maybe even in your business. And that is causing you to have leaky energy in other areas. Maybe you're not showing up in a great way for your partner, or in a great way for your team, or able to be on camera and be like, hi, I'm here. Let's record stuff. Let's make content. You're not able to do those things because there's something that's weighing you down. And that is pending energy. Pending energy can feel really heavy, really, really daunting and thick and crunchy, and it does not feel good. I want to share a few examples of pending energy that feels really present for me in my life, and some routines or rituals I have to clear it, because I know pending energy needs to be cleared, decisions need to be made, and I'm just so serious about my own energetic hygiene. And that's why I believe this is so important. It's so important we needed a podcast episode on it. So let's talk about pending energy. One of the biggest things that ends up being pending energy for me is responding to people about social engagements. This is a big one for me because I am a retired people pleaser. And when people invite me to things, to trips, to events, to parties, to celebrations, and part of me wants to go, but part of me knows we can't go because we have another thing going on, because we don't have the capacity, because we're going to be out of town or we have something else that has taken priority or precedence. And I know I need to say no to this friend that has invited me to this thing or this trip that I kind of committed to, but I can't show up to. I feel bad. I feel bad that I'm going to have to say no to them. And man, I know that whenever this happens for me, I chew on it for a while. I'm trying to get out of that cycle because going over the thought of, oh, I have to text so-and-so, I have to schedule a time to meet up with them to talk to them in person about how I can't go to this place with them anymore, how I can't attend their birthday celebration. And I go through this scenario in my head again and again. I don't even think about what I'm going to say. I'm just thinking about the fact that I need to do the thing, that I need to say no to them. I need to disappoint them. And every time my brain just replays this loop, this little ticker, like, hey, you have to talk to this person and it's not going to be great. Hey, you have to talk to this person and it's not going to be great. And just the thought of that loop that goes on and on and on and on for who knows how many times, for me, maybe it's dozens or hundreds. It's like such an energy suck. It's such a leak for my energy to even have that continuously going through my mind. So the practice I've started to adopt is to find ways to get out of that. And I want to talk about how to clear it because there's some specific steps I take on how to clear pending energy. And we'll talk through a whole exercise that I've come to really appreciate. And I want to give you a few other examples of pending energy because what's interesting is, especially with the social engagements of things that I have to decline or say no to, the reason I don't want to is because I don't want to let people down. I don't want to make people sad. I don't want to disappoint them. Again, people pleaser. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. It's not helpful for me to continuously have that thought process. Like, I have to do this thing. It's not going to be good. Obviously, that's just not a productive use of my brain power. And two, because my brain is spending some time there, my energy is going there and it is not being effective in other places. Maybe the fact that I have this loop going on about a social engagement means that I'm not showing up as my best self for my partner, or I'm not showing up as my best self for my team or the specific client that I need to be present for and hold space for as we finish a project for them. It causes rifts in other areas of our lives that we don't even realize, which is crazy. There's no linear explanation. The mind works in mysterious ways. And so there's not always a line we can draw. But I've noticed when I'm able to clear that pending energy, when I'm able to have a practice that clears that energetic space, that helps me address that energy hygiene, I'm then able to feel a release, a sense of relief, and almost this like relaxation of the mind, which allows me to go into flow, into creativity, into just a higher vibrational space so much more easily. Again, it's like that pending energy is weighing us down. It is holding us down and keeping us stuck, keeping us there. Think about pending energy as like shackles on your ankles tied to a really heavy weight. It keeps you stuck, keeps you from moving forward, and it gets heavier and heavier with time. Every single time you go through that loop, that ticker of, I need to do that thing, I am feeling really, really angsty about this conversation I need to have with a family member, and it's weighing me down. It doesn't feel good. And the more I hold on to that without addressing that pending energy, without maybe having a conversation I need to have, the heavier and heavier and heavier I get weighed down. The heavier that weight gets, the more stagnant I feel, the more inertia I feel to actually take action on whatever it is I need to take action on. And this can happen, like I said, with family members. It can happen with team members. I had some pending energy with a team member recently. Someone I knew that was a really wonderful person, but wasn't the best fit for our team. And they were with us for some time, maybe a little bit less than a year. And I knew deep down that they weren't the right fit for the team, but I was just letting it slide. I was just letting it be like, okay, I'll put that off, put that conversation off, another month, another month, another month. But it wasn't serving us. I mean, yes, they were doing their job to a degree, but when things broke down, when routine was off, when someone was out of office or things weren't perfectly aligned with timing or I didn't respond within a certain time, the processes start to break down, and there was lack of communication. There was not reliability. And that was not easy for me because I needed their support to get things done. And so I was dragging my feet on having the conversation of, hey, I'm not sure this is a fit anymore. And I do think it's time for us to go separate ways. I waited for months to have this conversation, and that was causing me to hold back on maybe hiring a better person in their place. There was leaky energy just generally there, and honestly getting enough work done because I didn't have the reliability or trust in that role to give more work. And so it was this like loop I was stuck in for the role itself, and that energy was leaking because I was doing the work, I was taking it on. I wasn't hiring for that role. And generally, every time I thought about it, I was like, okay, I need to do this at some point. I just need to do this at some point. But I was putting it off. So it got harder and harder. And then one day, last week, I think it was last week, I realized it just clicked. It's like, you know what? This isn't serving us. It's not serving me. It's not serving them. It is time. And we had the conversation. It was an amicable conversation, and it was right for both parties. And so we parted ways and we moved on, and everything was okay. And I wish them the best. And we found ways to pick up the projects and find another person to come in their place that could take on the work that needed to be taken on, which I'm so grateful for. And now that energy leak has been addressed. It has been plugged. And I'm sure that pending energy was causing leaks elsewhere in my life. And now that feels lighter. That feels a little bit easier, and I can move forward. So let's talk about, I've given you a few examples of pending energy, but let's talk about how do we clear this? How do we address this? Pending energy can be really sticky and really hard. Sometimes it could be a conversation with a parent or a sibling or a loved one about something they have been doing that we really need them to change. That can be harder than the conversation I just talked about with a team member that we needed to part ways with. That can be much harder, and it can be much more taxing too. And sometimes we just need a system to clear it. So let's talk about that system. This is something I do every so often. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it's monthly. It has really helped me maintain good energy. It helps me show up in the ways I really want to show up in the world. And what I do on this regular cadence, whatever feels right in that era of my life, is I'm making a pending energy list. So I have this in my phone, in my notes app. It's called Pending Energy. And whenever there's some decision to be made, I'm writing it down. I have a conversation to be had, which isn't that heavy, about a trip. I just need to confirm the dates with my husband, and we need to feel good about those dates where I'm going to be gone. I need to have a conversation about some other travel plans with friends that are coming up, which is going to be fun, and just need to make some decisions on other. It's funny how all these are around travel. Travel this summer. There's like some data there just by my pending energy list that I'm sharing with you right now, because this summer is going to be crazy and we just need to get our ducks in a row. It's funny, all of these around travel, very interesting. Now I'm telling you this and I'm like introspecting about it at the same time. Like, there is something here. Maybe the travel itself is pending energy a little bit for me, and I need to find some stillness in the chaos a little. Some other pending energy that I've been holding on to is more related to business, and that is around having conversations with team members about bringing them on in a bigger role with some of our client projects where I've been super involved, and really it's time for me to step out of the way. So that's also on my list, is getting them in, honestly getting me to have an exit plan from those projects. They're really wonderful clients and wonderful projects, but it's just not where my energy needs to go right now. So I need to have those conversations, and I need to take action, like create an action plan to get out of that client facing role for the work that I've been doing and allow someone else to shine. These are just a few things on my list. So some conversations to be had, some messages to be sent, some decisions to be made. Not all of them are sticky or difficult. Some of them are, because they have to do with relationships that I care about, like friendships. And so, or even colleagues on my team. It's a little bit of mix of both. So these are all the things that are currently on my pending energy list. And although some of them seem simple, they do weigh down. They're just things that are constantly in that ticker, that mental ticker. When I say ticker, I imagine like a stock ticker at the New York Stock Exchange, going through again and again, like repeating letters of all the things that are my pending energy right now. And it can be a lot. So I want to quiet the noise. And how I quiet the noise is I'm adding to this list throughout the week of what is feeling like a little bit heavy, a little bit, or maybe it's a meeting on my calendar that I know I need to cancel. Like, why is it on there? Why am I doing this? It's not right for me right now in this era of my life. Why is it there? And why haven't I canceled it? That actually, I feel like I need to do that. So that's going to go on my list too. So I've shared a few different things that are on my pending energy list. And what I do is I typically have something on my calendar or a day of the week that I assign to clear that pending energy. For me, it's the weekends. I don't know why that feels really good. So Sunday, I am going through this list and I make a commitment that I need to resolve that pending energy within 24 hours. So I need to send messages to those people. I need to make decisions and book things. I need to set up calls with my team regarding taking on client work. I need to address things on my calendar that probably shouldn't be on my calendar and take action to move them, adjust them. So I'm sending the messages to initiate the change that I need to initiate in order to clear that pending energy. And my recommendation is having that on your calendar, monthly basis, weekly basis, so that you have space where you're doing that. Maybe it's a 30-minute slot and you're going back to your notes list, which is what I do. And I'm going through each one, deciding what action to take and checking it off the list for resolving that pending energy. I know it's resolved when I've had the conversation, when I have laid the boundary, when I have made the plan, made the decision, and communicated that to all the parties that need to know what that plan or decision is. And make sure this is resolved in 24 hours. We have already been holding on to pending energy for longer than it needs to be held on to. And that's why it's really important to have this deadline of 24 hours. You want to release it ASAP. You want it to go now. And that's why that deadline is really important. Check back in the next day to see, are these resolved? Be committed to yourself on this, because this can free you. This can really create clarity in your mind and in your space to take the next step forward, to become unstuck, because it is causing you to stay in the same place for longer than you want to stay in the same place. Sometimes it can be hard to detect pending energy. Sometimes we just have so much noise happening. It's important to allow ourselves space to recognize it and to allow it to come forward. This is why morning routines are so important to me, because it creates that white space, even if it's 10 minutes of me sitting and asking myself, where in life are there decisions that I need to make, that I know deep in my soul I need to make, that I've been holding back on? Where in life has there been feeling of stuckness, of things I know I need to take action on, things I know I need to move forward on that I haven't? What is ready to be released? What is ready to be decisioned on? Asking yourself these questions will really, really help to clear it up. Sometimes if none of this is helping me identify pending energy, it might mean I don't have pending energy, which is great, amazing. But sometimes I just ask myself, what's feeling leaky? What's feeling icky? Where is my energy seeping out? What feels draining right now? When I think of that person, idea, project, initiative, business, whatever it is, whenever I think of that, does it feel heavy? Does it feel draining? If so, is there a conversation to be had there? Is there avoidance there? Is there a boundary to be drawn? So helping to identify this means space is required. And for me, I have space in pockets of my day when I'm driving to go have a meeting or meet someone at a coffee shop, or honestly just at a coffee shop out in the world. This is why I take my pending energy list with me on my phone. That's why it's in my notes app, because I have pending energy coming to me in various parts of my day, not just in my morning routine. And that's why I mentioned that at the beginning of this little how to unsubscribe list is I want to make sure I have this list to me wherever I am in my life, wherever I am on the go, so I can add to it and then address it in my designated time to clear up my pending energy. So that is your little guide on how to unsubscribe to pending energy in a way that feels approachable, in a way that feels doable. And this practice. Oh my goodness. It can feel so good if you're able to apply it and put it into action, because it will free you up in so many areas where you've been feeling stuck, where you've been feeling handcuffed and frozen. And I want you to feel that freedom again, to feel that alignment and be able to flow again in that space, because I know you have something amazing to put out into the world. I know you have something amazing to take action on, to make movement on, and I want to support you in that. So that's why I was so excited to record this podcast episode on pending energy. So excited for you to implement it and tell me how it goes. Talk to me about it on Instagram, because pending energy can change the way you view things, and clearing it can be game changing, can be life changing. I'm excited for you to spend time clearing and unsubscribing to pending energy and make your mark in this world. Thank you all for listening. Until next time, hope you have a great rest of your day.